Welcome to Provatech. My name is Raju, C++ programming language tutorial by Provatech. Today, I would like to explain functions in C++ language, call by value and call by reference, recursive functions, inline functions, namespace in C++, scope resolution operator in C++. So namespace is not available in C language, so it is introduced in C++ language. Scope resolution operator also not available in C language, it is available in C++ language. So what are the functions? So the function in C++ language is also known as procedure or subroutine in other programming languages. In C++ language, procedure or subroutine in other programming language. To perform any task, we can create a function. A function can be called many times. It provides modularity or and code reusability. So a function can be called many times. What are the advantages? So code reusability. By creating functions in C++, you can call it many times. So we don't need to write the same code again and again. Next, second advantage, code optimization. So if you write one function, then it is called by again and again, then that is code optimizations. So it makes the code optimized. We don't need to write much code. So suppose I have one file file1.cpp contains multiple lines. Like means one file having thousand lines. So main function having 10,000 lines. Main function having 10,000 lines or 20,000 lines. Then so if any new user or if any fresher so unable to understand 1,000 lines of code in one function. Main is the function, it contains 10,000 or 20,000 lines of code, then anyone unable to understand that code. So if any bug comes into file1.cpp, then very difficult to fix that, because understanding of 10,000 lines code is very difficult. So I have 10,000 lines, then I divided it into small functions. Small functions. Then anyone can be able to understand those functions. And if any bug occurs, then any user can able to very easily. So if you have 1,000 lines of code, then very difficult to debug that one, right? So 10,000 lines code is understanding is very difficult. So if I divide into small functions, like so I divided 10,000 lines into function 1 having some 500 lines of code, function 2 having some 200 lines of code, function 3 having some 300 lines of code. So divided into small functions, then anyone can easily understand. And one more thing is, so some set of statements, after some set of statements, so code is repeated. Suppose that code is repeated, then I can call the function. Suppose function 1 I have to call, so function 1 calling more times. Function 1 calling more times. This is the code reusability. By creating functions in C++, you can call it many times. So we don't need to write same code again and again. Clear, right? So there are two types of functions in C++. One is library functions and second is user defined functions. So we already have, so suppose this is the function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4, like this. These are user defined functions. Suppose sum of two numbers. So sum number 1 comma number 2. So sum num1 comma num2 is user defined functions. So convert val to string. Convert val to string. This is user defined functions. So whenever a function defined by user, then it is called user defined function. Whenever a function defined by the user, that is user defined functions. So second one is library functions. So printf is one function. Printf is one function. Scanf is one another function. Power POW is another function. ABS absolute is another function. Cos is another function. These are inbuilt functions. So printf, scanf, these are in stdio.h. So POW, ABS, COS, cos, sin, tan, tan inverse, these are math.h. So in C++, cout is one more function, cin is one more function. These are in iostream.h. So these are the library functions built in stdio.h, math.h, iostream.h. So these are not user defined. These are already existing functions. Clear, right? So there are two types of functions. One is library functions. These functions are already inbuilt. So second one is user defined functions. So a function defined by user, it is called as user defined functions. Suppose sum of two numbers, convert number to value, like that. These are the user defined functions. So two functions, function are two types, user defined function and library functions. So what is the function declaration? What is the function declaration? Data type, function name, arguments. Data type, function name, argument. So here fun name is the function name having some parameters and return data type. So this data type is either integer, char, float or double or any user defined data type, struct, enum, array, pointer. These are user defined data types. So data type is anything. Fun name is function name and arguments. Suppose int sum int x comma int y. So int x comma int y are parameters, arguments. Arguments are parameter. So sum is the function name having two integer parameters, and return integer data type Sum is the function name having two integer parameters x and y and return integer. So this is the function declaration. Suppose float compute so compute is the function name having one parameter, that is an array. A is an array having 20 characters and return float data type. So compute is a function having an array and return float data type. So this is the declaration. So definition. So declaration having semicolon. When I define there is no semicolon, start with curly braces and end with curly braces and have some statements. ST1, statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. These are the body of the function. So function declaration is, the syntax of function declaration is data type, function name, number of arguments, and with semicolon. So when we define the function, say there is no semicolon and body of the function will be executed. So functions are two types. One is library functions and second is user defined functions. So POW is inbuilt function. So it is in math.h header file. Here see that IOStream having cin and cout, then cmath. Cmath is POW, 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 ABS, cos, tan, atan. Atan means atan inverse. Ceil of x, exponent, like this. These are all inbuilt functions including math.h. So functions start with the main. So we are calling POW. POW is the function, inbuilt function in the CMath. So POW of 2 comma 5. That means that this is 2 power 5. 2 power 5. So 2 power 5 is 32, will be displayed on the console window. Clear, right? POW is inbuilt function which is x to the power y. So this is not user defined function, it is library function. So another example of user defined functions. So function declaration, int sum, int comma int, send off with semicolon. Then sum is the function name. Sum is the function name having two integer parameters, and return integer. Sum is the function name having two integer parameters and return integer. Then every program starts with the main. So I call the calling function. Sum of 1 comma 1 is integer and 99 is also integer. So this is calling function. So when we define, so int sum, int x comma int y, so there is no semicolon, remember that. So this is the called function. This is the called function. So defined function is the call function. So inside the main function, for the function which is inside the main function, that is calling function. So here, so now the value of x is 1 now. The value of y is 99 now. Then I created third integer variable int num3 equal to num1 plus num2. So return num3, right? Because its sum is the function having two integer parameters and return integer. That's why I created third integer variable. So num1 plus num2, that means x plus y. X plus y. Now 1 plus 99. is written 100. So Cout sum of 1 comma 99. So this is the Cout, right? Cout sum of 1 comma 90. It returned to 100 value will be displayed on the console window. So sum is here user defined function, not inbuilt function. Previously POW is inbuilt function in CMath. So we have any headers, only we have IOStream header. What are the actual and formal parameters? The parameters can be classified under two groups. One is actual parameters and second is formal parameters. So actual parameters. Actual parameter is a variable or an expression contained in a function call that replace the formal parameter which is part of function declarations. So here in this case sum of 1 comma 99, it is in the main function, right? So these parameters 1 comma 99 are actual parameters. So these two parameters actual parameters. So when the function definition we are using int x comma int y, so x and y are formal parameters. So the parameters in calling function are called actual parameters. The parameters which are in called function are called formal parameters. Clear, right? So sum of 1 comma 99, sum of 1 comma 99. Here 1 and 99 are actual parameters. So in int num1 in the called function int num1 comma int num2, these two are formal parameters. So actual parameter is a variable or an expression contained in a function call. This is the function call, right? Sum of 1 comma 99 is the function call, is the calling function that replaces the formal parameter which is the part of function declaration. So function declaration is int sum int int. So 1 and 99 replaced with x and y. So formal parameters. Formal parameters are formal arguments. Formal arguments are the parameters present in the function definition. So int x comma int y are present in function definition. Function declaration ends with semicolon. So there is no semicolon at the end of function definition. So this is the function definition. So these parameters present in the function definition. So x and y are formal parameters. Formal arguments may be declared by the same or by different names in the calling portion of the program or called program. Suppose in main function I have taken int x equal to 1, int y equal to 99. So now instead of sum 1 comma 99 I am passing x comma y. So actual parameters and formal parameters it might be same. Otherwise we can int num1 num2. So actual parameters are x and y. Formal parameters are num1 and num2. So see this example I have in main function int num1. So displays the function having one parameter num1. Num1 is the actual parameter at the type of definition of display function. So there is one parameter para1. Para1 is the formal parameter. So the parameters passing from calling function, those parameters are called actual parameters. So the parameters in the function definition, the parameters which are in the function definition, then those parameters are called formal parameters. So different aspects of function calling. A function may or may not accept argument. A function may or may not accept any argument. It may or may not return any value. Based on the facts, there are four different aspects of function call. First one is function without arguments and without return value. So without return value means it is void. It is void. So sum is the function. Sum is the function without arguments and without return value. Clear, right? Sum is the function. First case is the function without arguments and without return value. So sum is the function having doesn't any arguments and without return value. So for this example, so I have main function calling sum. So void sum here int x comma y, cout enter two numbers, cin y, right? So int z equal to x plus y, cout z. So I have some function. Some function do not have any arguments and without return value. So this is the calling function. This is the calling function. So function starts is the main and calling function executes. So it is the called function. It is the called function. So in called function, I have two variables x and y. So enter two numbers will be displayed on the console window. Then if user ends, if user give 1 comma 2, then x is 1 and y is 2. Int z equal to x plus 3. Z value is 3 now. So z value 3 will be displayed on the console window. So this is the first case, function without arguments and without return value. Now second case, function without arguments and with return value. So function without arguments and return some value. Suppose this is the integer. So here int s equal to sum, cout s. So here instead of cout, return z. So return integer value, then it is int. So second case, function without arguments and with return value. So here sum is the function having no arguments and return integer value. Sum is the function having no arguments and return integer value. So in main function, I have using local variable int s equal to sum. Sum is the calling function. So now goes to called function is the definition of sum. So enter two numbers. If user enters 1 comma 2, so x is 1 and y is 2. So int z equal to x plus y. Now return z. Z value is 3 now. So return z, it stored to s and display the value 3 on the console window. Clear, right? So sum is the function without arguments and return integer value. Sum is the function having no arguments and return value. So that is int sum. This is the second case. So first case is no arguments, no return type. second arguments, second statement, no arguments, return integer, not integer, any data type. So third case, function with arguments without return value. Without return value. Without return value means it is void. Function having arguments. So int comma int. Int comma int. So in main function, I have sum int x equal to 1 and y equal to 2. So passing x comma y. So it is a function with arguments without return value. So it is void int a comma int b. So int z equal to a plus b. There is no return value. So cout z. Cout z. So program starts with the main. I have two local variables x equal to 1 and y equal to 2. Then the calling function sum of x comma y. Sum of x comma y. Then go to called function. So sum is the function. Sum is the function having two parameters, that means arguments, and return nothing. Return void is return nothing. So I am taking local variable z equal to sum of two numbers a plus b. So 1 plus 2. 3 will be displayed on the console window. Now fourth case, function with arguments and with return value. Function with arguments and with return value. So function having arguments and return value. Int sum. So int s equal to sum of x comma y. So this is integer. So return a plus b. Clear, right? So sum is having two arguments. Sum is the function name having two arguments and return integer. So program starts with the main. X value is 1 and y equal to 2. Here sum of xy is calling function. Whenever this statement executes, goes to called function. So sum is the function having two integer parameters and return integer. So return a plus b. It stores to s. Now s value is 1 plus 2, 3. 3 will be displayed on the console window. These are the four aspects of function calling. Next is call by value in C++. In call by value, original value is not modified. In call by value, value being passed to the function is locally stored by the function parameter in stack memory location. If you change the value of function parameter, it is changed for the current function only. It will not change the value of variable inside the caller method, such as main. So see this example. I have change is a function having integer parameter and return nothing. Change is a function having one parameter integer and return nothing. So program starts with the main. I have data equal to 3. Then call the calling function change of data So this is the calling function. So then definition, it goes to call function void change into data. This is the called function. So here in calling function, data is the actual parameter. In the definition of change function, data is the formal parameter. Formal parameter. Now, so this is the inside main function. Inside main function. Here, the memory of memory created data having value 3. Now, this data is copied to this data. So, inside this function, another memory location data having the same value, but different memory locations. Suppose 0x111. This is another memory location, stack memory location 0x222. Suppose that. Okay. So whenever calling function, this is the called function. Now I change it to data equal to 5. Now this value is changed to 5, not this value. Formal parameter change it to 5. So then goes to main function again. Then value of the data is So here this formal parameter is the local variable. So what is the scope of local variable? After ending this curly braces, this parameter will be gone. So nowhere executed after end of curly braces. Function definition, end of function definition, curly brace. Right? So here this is the local variable. After that, compiler doesn't know about the formal parameter. So what is local parameter inside the main function? It is data. So what is the value of data? It is 3. 3 will be displayed on the console window. This is the example of call by value. So in the function definition, I am changing the value, but it is not affected to calling function. Clear, right? So I am passing the value from main function. So I have called function. So formal parameter received that actual parameter. So I changed the value inside the function definition. Then that value is not affected in the main function. So this is the call by value. So in call by value, value being passed to the function is locally stored by function parameter in stack memory location. So we have data inside the main function. So this data is stored into stack memory location. If you change the value of function parameter, it is changed for current function only. So I have called function change. If I change, so changing happened only inside this function only. Inside this function only. It will not change the value of variable inside the caller method. That is such as main. I have main function, right? In main function, I have parameter data. So this data will not change the value of variable. So this is call by value. So this is the example already explained. So now another one is call by reference. Call by reference. So in call by reference, original value is modified because we pass reference. Here address of the value is passed in function, so actual and formal arguments share the same address space. Hence value changed inside the function is reflected inside as well as outside the function. So in call by value I am passing the value only. So in stack memory location, so in function calling, I have created separate memory location. In function definition, stack created another memory location. So when I change the value in function definition, it doesn't affect it to calling function. So, but in call by reference, I am not passing the value. I am not passing the value. I am passing the address. So both have same address. Both have same address. So whenever I will change in the function definition, it is affected to calling function actual parameters. It is affected to parameters in the function calling, right? So this is the example swapping of two numbers. So program starts with the main. So x is 500 and y is 100. So x is 500 and value of y is 100. So this memory location, suppose this is 1000, x is 1000, y is 2000, y is 2000. Then swap is the function having two integer pointers and return nothing. Swap is a function having two integer parameters and return nothing. So swap is the function calling function. So go to definition of swap. So swap int star x comma int star y. So we are passing addresses. Swap 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 is the function we are passing address of x comma address of y. We are passing only addresses, not values. So swap is address of x, address of y. It's stored to formal parameters. So I have x, I have y. These are actual parameters. Actual parameters. So these are formal parameters. Formal parameters. So now what is the value of x? Is the address. What is the address? 1000. So what is the address of y? It is 2000. It is 2000. Clear, right? We are passing the addresses, not values. So formal parameters having addresses only. So this x is mapped to actual parameter x and this y is mapping to actual parameter of y. So then I have third variable int swap. Int swap, then swap equal to star x. Swap equal to star x. Star x means the value at x. So the value at 1000. What is the value at 1000? The value at 1000 is 500. So swap is 500. The value at 1000. Then star x equal to star y. So equal to is assignment operator. By operator rules precedence and associativity. Assignment is right to left. So star y assigned to star s. What is the star y? Star y means that the value at 2000. Star x equal to star x means that the value at x equal to the value at y. What is the value at y? The value at 2000. What is the value at 2000? It is 100. It is 100. Star x means that the value at x. The value at x now it is 100. Then third statement star y equal to swap. What is the value of swap? It is 500. It is 500. Star y means that the value at y. The value at y. The value at y means this one 100 replaced with 500. Star y means the value at y. The value at y. So the value at 2000. The value at 2000 replaced by 500. Then comes to main function. Value of x is. So value of x is 100. Value of y is. Value of x is 100. Value of y is 500. So before swapping, the value of x is 500 and value of y is 100. After swapping, the value of x is 100 and the value of y is 500. Because so we are passing references, addresses only to the called function. In case of call by value, we are passing the values only. In call by value, we are passing the values. That's why the parameters changed in the function definition does not affect to parameters in calling function. So if we pass the references, so I changed the x and y values in the function definition. Then these variables affected in the calling function. Clear, right? There is a lot of difference between call by value and call by reference. In call by value, we are passing the value. In call by reference, we are passing the reference only, not value. So next concept, default arguments in C++ functions. So a default parameter, also called as optional parameter, is a function parameter that has a default value provided to it. If the user does not supply a value for this parameter, the default value will be used. If user does supply a value for the default parameter, the user supplied value is used instead of default value. So default arguments are introduced in C++. It is not available in C language. Suppose I have a function int sum, int x, comma, int y equal to 2, int z equal to 3. So this is the declaration, not definition. This is the declaration. Sum is a function name having 3 integer parameters and return integer. So here int y equal to 2 and z equal to 3 are default arguments. Default arguments because so in main function if user calls the function sum of 1 then so here sum has 3 parameters. Inside the main function we are passing only one parameter. At the time it treats as x is 1 y is 2, z is 3. Okay, clear, right? So if you are passing only one parameter, already in the function definition, function declaration, I defined default parameters. In the function declaration, I defined default parameters. So if you passing one parameter, it automatically takes the default parameters. Suppose if I pass some 1 comma 5, we are passing two parameters. Then x equal to 1. So now 2 is overridden by 5. Y equal to 5. Z is the default parameter. Here only one default parameter. Sum of 1 means it has two default parameters y and z. Sum of 1 comma 5. So now only one default parameter. Now another sum of 1 comma 7 comma 9. Here it treats as x equal to 1, y equal to 7, z equal to 9. So three parameters here, three parameters are overridden. So x equal to 1, y equal to 7, z equal to 9. So suppose if you call like this, then compiler throws the error because x is not default parameter. Only y and z are default parameters. X is not default parameter. So a default parameter, also called an optional parameter, is a function parameter that has a default value provided to it. If user does not supply a value, so here sum of 1, user does not supply a value for this parameter, the default value will be used. What are the default values? Y equal to 2 and z equal to 3. So if the user supply a value for the default parameter, the user supplied value is used instead of default value. I am passing 5, then instead of y equal to 2, we are using y equal to 5. Z is the default parameter. So see the example. So program starts with the main print values is the function name having two parameters. One is integer and another is default parameters, and return nothing. So print values 4. Print values is the function name passing one parameter. Then now here in this case x equal to 1 and y equal to 10. X equal to 1 and y equal to 10. So 1 and 10 will be displayed on the console window. Then print values 3 comma 4. 3 comma 4. Then x is equal to 3. X equal to 3. Then y value is not 4. It is overridden by 4. So 3 and 4 will be displayed on the console window. These are default arguments in C++. See one more example. I have sum is the function having three parameters, three integer parameters and return integer. Having three integer parameters and return integer. So program starts with the main. So it is sum of 1. Then a equal to 1, b equal to 10, c equal to 20. Okay, then 1 plus 10 plus 20. The value 31 will be displayed on the console window. So sum of z equal to a plus b, z equal to 31. So return 31 will be stored into cout. So cout, that value 31 will be displayed on the console window. The value 31 on the displayed on the console window. Next, sum of 1 comma 2. Sum of 1 comma 2. Now a value is 1, b value is 2. A value is 1, b value is 2. So the output is, and c value by default value, c is 20. So 1 plus 2 plus 20. So it is 23 will be displayed on the console window. 23 will be displayed on the console window. Next, sum of 1 comma 2 comma 3. Sum of 1 comma 2 comma 3. So now a value is 1, b value is 2, c value is 3. Okay, so b and c default parameters, these are overridden by 2 and 3. These are overridden by 2 and 3. So now sum 1 plus 2 plus 3. So 6. 6 will be displayed on the console window. So these are the default arguments. So if you have any doubts or questions, please send mail to hello@provatech.com or ping the message through Skype prova.tech. Thank you.